Hello, and welcome to this next interview that I'm doing. And I'm getting all my family members to be involved. So, tonight I'm interviewing my wonderful daughter, who's my middle child, a rose between two thorns. So, I will just flick her camera on and then maybe she can say a little bit about herself. The topic of tonight is parenting in 2020. So, Michelle, I've put your camera on now. So, you're live on air. Woo! So this
Hello.
is my middle baby. Thanks for agreeing to do this. I know we've kind of been bamboozled into doing it by your older brother, haven't we?
Well, yeah, I was forced to do it, but I don't like you calling me your middle child. I was your baby first.
You were my
Uh,
first baby before the
I
third
was.
baby came along.
Yes, I've
Yes.
always been the baby
Yeah.
until 15 years later, and I wasn't the baby anymore.
No. And that
So,
was a bit of a shock.
yeah, so I begrudged that middle child title. Thank
That's
you.
fine. That's fine. I was only thinking about it today. You were in your GCSE year when I told you I was expecting, and your reaction wasn't the best.
I had the baby title stripped from me.
You did, and you'd had it for so long.
I
I know.
know.
I'm a terrible mother, but now you're a mummy yourself.
I am to my little 2-year-old.
Yes, to wonderful Alfie. You made me a nana.
Your one and only.
Yes, yes. So, like I said, the title of this really is Parenting in 2020, which it's been a bit of a bummer this year so far.
Yeah, it's it's just been strange, hasn't it? I mean, I've only got 2 years of parenting to compare it to, but this year has been just strange.
Yeah. And you had planned on going back to work quite soon after having Alfie, but then things changed.
I don't think you know how you're gonna feel or anything when, because yeah, I've always been career minded. I've always thought, yeah, I'll be a working mom, and the child will just, sort of
Slot in.
fitting along. Yeah, just fitting along because you see all these other wonderful mothers doing it, and I
Yeah.
take my hats off to them. I did my 9 months maternity, and I just couldn't bring myself to go back. I just couldn't put him in nursery and see him for a couple of hours a day. I just even now I'm just putting off the inevitable. I'm just
Yeah. I think for you though, it's not like it is for every parent because you are in the military. So one of the big things with you was that you would still be deployed.
yeah, if I'd have gone back to work, I would have already done 4 months away from him,
Yeah.
and I'd be back by now. Um, and again, I don't know how mums in the military do it. They're obviously stronger women than me because I just even now thinking about it, I could cry because I'm going to have to do it at some point. I'm just literally just putting it off.
Yeah. You have a wonderful phrase that you use an awful lot that is that's for future Michelle to worry
Yeah,
about.
future Michelle can worry about that. At the minute, I'm just enjoying my time off with Alfie, and you know I've got to say that the lockdown hasn't been bad for me as for other people because Johnny's normally working away Monday to Friday, but he's been
Johnny's a husband, by the way,
sorry,
just so
yes,
you
yes,
know
my
who.
darling husband.
Yes.
He's normally works away Monday to Friday because he's in the RAF as well, and he's been at home with us, so we've had such lovely family time, um, and I've really appreciated, you
That
know,
time, yeah.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah, because we only touched on it this morning. There was a little chat about um what is it, Little Kids Minds or something.
yeah. The Duchess of Cambridge is doing,
Yeah, yeah, which I thought was really interesting. You know, from a psychotherapy point of view, that the first 5 years are the most important time. Our brain, develops at the fastest rate that it does ever in our entire life, and 80% of our intelligence is kind of formed in those informative years. Which, when you think about it, it's kind of the whole time they're at home and reception class, pretty much.
yeah, and it's a coincidence as well because I had Alfie's 24 months and 27 months check today. So a lady rang up. Obviously, she couldn't come and do the actual check with us.
Yeah,
But yeah, she rang up and we went through the whole form. How's he doing? How's he developing and everything? And she said, "Is there any, concerns?" And I did mention his speech, and I said, he's speaking loads, he's saying loads, but he's not saying the words properly. So obviously we know what he's
We
saying,
understand him, yeah.
but when he goes back to nursery, they're really going to struggle with knowing what he's saying, and I think he's going to get so frustrated. So I said that to her, and she had some more questions, see how he is,
Yeah.
and she said, you know, they won't do anything until he's 3.5, 4. So she's like, give us a ring again when he's 3.5, 4 if you're concerned. So if they, you know, don't do anything until that stage, that is a late stage, isn't it? If I've already voiced my concerns.
Yeah, yeah. But what she's saying isn't necessarily what nursery will do. He does go to a really good nursery, and I'm sure that if they are concerned, they will bring it up with you, and they'll know about speech and language and all those sorts of things. But you were quite a late speaker, and you didn't end your words. You'd say the beginning of the words, and there
That's
wouldn't
what
be
Alfie
an
does,
ending. And
yeah.
it was like you'd say more, and it's like you could say at the beginning, but yet you wouldn't say it at the end of mum. So the kids do have funny little quirks, and we all understand what he's saying.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But I
But
understand that, one of the big things with communication is being understood. And if he's not understood, then that could lead on to him getting frustrated and that
definitely.
impacting on him. Yeah. So did he pass with flying colours?
With flying colours, but
But because
she,
last
she
time you were concerned he couldn't jump.
Oh yeah, he couldn't jump last time. He can jump now. But with the social side of things, she's asking, how he is with other children, and I was like, before all of this, he went to nursery, and they always said that he was played fine, lovely.
He was really
But
empathic as well. He was just getting to that stage. I
yeah,
remember there was a new little girl that started that was upset, and he was going over to her,
yeah.
which was really sweet. Yeah.
But with all this lockdown, it's like whenever we're out on a walk and someone's coming past us, I'm always like, "Oh, Alfie, come out the way!" And he runs and he hides, and it's like, "Oh, there's a person there." And it's same with kids. He doesn't know how to interact with them anymore.
No, I was saying that to, I don't know who I was saying it to, but it's like we're going to have a whole generation of socially inept people because
Definitely.
we tell them keep away, keep to this side, don't go near them. And yeah, you took him to the park a couple of days ago, and he was queuing up, waiting his turn, really patiently, bless him. But we're telling him to keep the distance, whereas kids of 2 normally they huddle. They have no sense of personal space or anything.
And things like I'm always like, "Oh, don't touch that, Alfie. It's dirty. Let me wash your hands and things." And he's gonna turn into like, a yeah, someone with no social skills and OCD about cleanliness and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't because he's got a brilliant mum and a brilliant dad, and there's a whole generation of children that are going to be going through similar things. But it is going to impact on kids.
Definitely.
Yeah, birthday parties, gatherings, family. I must admit, when I hug him, it's like, should I be doing this? I know, our 2 households are kind of isolated,
Mm.
so to speak, but it's like, do I do this? Is this what I should be doing now?
And even last week, I took him to Clark's to get him measured for some
Yeah.
shoes, and I had a face mask on, which he was a bit like, "Oh,
What's
what
that?
are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then we went into the store, and the woman had a visor on, and he had to stand behind this plastic screen and like poke his feet out so she could just touch his feet.
Bless
But there's like this
him.
plastic screen between them and everything, and he was good as gold, stood there, but you could tell by his face he just didn't
What's
know what on
going
earth was
on?
going on.
Yeah. And, from a grown up point of view, we can accept it all. We know the
Mm.
reasons why, and it's to keep us safe and everything. But for little people, it must be scary.
Yeah,
We do. We smile, and yet, a lot of people. Well, we've got to do it when we go in shops from the 24th. They're not going to be able to see anything other than our eyes. So there's a whole learning about communication that they're going to miss out on.
and we're not going to know how it's going to affect them until later on, are we?
No,
Really?
no. So there is some sort of mental health side of things and emotional well-being and communication skills that maybe need thinking about in future.
Definitely.
Yeah, and support for mums as well. A lot of mums that were going to mother and toddler groups. I know you and Alfie went to swimming. He was part of a swimming group that you took him
Yeah.
to, and he went to Diddy Kicks for his football. There was a lot of group activities that you got involved in that were suddenly stopped.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even going to the park, he used to be running around and climbing things and jumping off things, and he wouldn't go down the slide the first couple of times we went to the park. It's like I feel like he'd lost all his confidence and everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big thing. So you're a working mum as well, even though you say you're not gone back to your proper full time soldiering job.
No. So yeah, I'm working part time at the moment. Um, and I've just booked Alfie in to go back into nursery actually, but he's going to go back in for a full day. He's normally only done half a day. He's going to go in for a full day.
Yeah.
Um, after all this time, so I don't know how he's going to cope with that.
I keep saying it's how you're gonna cope with that. Alfie will be fine. It's you tear
I said
up
I put it
even
all on
just
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got this thing that because you used to pick him up after his dinner, that he's going to be waiting for you after his dinner. But I'm not saying he's not intelligent, but often children don't have any concept of time. It's
I've just got his visions of him sat at the window waiting for him and not going to come for him.
welcome to the world of mummy guilt. That
It's
you've got that
awful.
now. I still have that with you and your older brother, so that's with you for life now. So is there anything in particular that you wanted to talk about? The pregnancy. It was a planned pregnancy. You planned it. That was all organised, and I know we have spoke a little bit on here about you wanted to have a hypnobirth. It was you didn't want any interventions done or anything. You were quite stringent about that. Is there anything that you want to say about the birth, the pregnancy, the whole shooting shebang of being a parent?
I think I definitely recommend hypnobirthing. I mean, you don't have to do the ending part, but just the actual, going into that state of mind and focus on your breathing and all that kind of stuff. I did that all throughout the pregnancy, and it helped so
Do
much
you
when it.
use that at all now? The
Actually,
techniques that you learnt, the relaxation techniques, because it's quite mindfulness, isn't it? It's being in
it
the
is.
here and now and focusing on your
Yeah,
breathing and things. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. If I'm struggling to sleep or anything, I literally do that for a couple of minutes, and it does. It just makes you focus on like nothing really, just your breathing and just emptying your mind of all your, thoughts and worries and stuff.
yeah,
And it does, it just works. And I'm just presuming now, but when you're in labour and you have your contraction stuff, it's just a distraction method, and everyone knows like distraction from pain works, doesn't it?
yeah,
If you just distract yourself, you think about something else,
yeah,
it helps massively.
yeah. Because don't take this the wrong way. It's not meant as a criticism, but you are very focused when you set your mind on something. You are very focused on that, and I know we read books together, and you had certain words that we couldn't use around contractions. They were surges and things. So, but it's good to know that you still practice that afterwards, the relaxation and everything. So for anybody, even if they're having a difficult pregnancy, you would say learn it anyway because it's going to come in handy.
That's it, yeah. So I used it throughout the labour until the very end when I couldn't. They didn't go to plan, I didn't have the water birth or anything. But up until that stage, I just had gas and air at the very end, and I didn't have anything
Yeah,
throughout the contractions or anything.
yeah,
So clearly, I'm not some superhuman person or anything. Clearly, it worked, and it, distracted me long enough that I could get to full term like pretty, smoothly type thing.
yeah, yeah. Even with the difficult ending, because I think we need to say that he was an undiagnosed breech. He was coming out bum first, and it wasn't found out until the latter stages of labour, really. So, it wasn't a nice, smooth labour from start to finish. It was pretty quick and pretty intense. But to say that you only needed intervention and it was only gas and air, there wasn't any pethidine, never mind, epidurals or anything like that, you managed really well just doing the hypnobirthing.
Definitely.
Yeah, which is brilliant. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I can remember when I had, even Kai 15 years ago, there was a lot of, midwives and health visitors that visited me. Probably, I might be wrong, but I remember it being something like every day for 14 days after the birth once you went home. I don't remember you having that.
I think I had 3 visits.
Yeah. So how did you feel
Vaguely.
going home with a new baby? I can remember it being scary, like shit. I'm in charge of this live human being now, and I haven't got a clue what I'm doing.
Yeah, I remember in the hospital you showed me how to change a nappy because I've never even changed a nappy before, and then I had to take him home and do it all the time.
Did they show you in hospital? I see. I had that in
No, you
hospital.
did.
Before we took them home, we had to bath them in hospital, and we had somebody that came round and kind of showed us how to dress them and undress them and bath them and all that sort of stuff. You had none of that.
No, you showed me how to change the nappy. You
I
showed me how
should
to
die of
dress
that.
him. And they said, don't bath him for 7 days. And you came round and helped me bath him that first time we bathed him.
Yeah, we were allowed to bath them once in hospital, and then we were told not to until things had dried up, their umbilical cord and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so can you remember being scared, being a new mum?
Um, I didn't because I knew I had you and you were there. You used to come round every morning so that I could go and have a bath and sort my bits and things. Um,
You couldn't
but
get
it's,
rid of me, to be fair.
no, so I've always had a good support network, haven't I? If I was, if I wasn't close to you or something, it would have been awful. And Johnny's okay with me saying this, but Johnny struggled after Alfie was born.
Yeah.
And I remember the health visitor came round once, and he stayed in bed. He didn't get up, because that's what he did. And she asked me like, "Oh, are you a single mum?" She didn't even know if I had a husband or anything.
Haven't
And I was
seen
like,
him.
I was like, "Oh no, he's still in bed." But that didn't ring alarm bells for her. And I like, "Oh, is everything okay? Is he okay or anything?" And I was like, surely that should have been picked up on as well, because it's not just the mum that needs support, is it?
No, no.
Dads do need it as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a really valid point. It's a massive change for a woman to go through, but it's also a big change for the dads a lot of the time that they don't know what to expect, and yeah, I think
And it is easy for them to get pushed out as well, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, of course it is unknowingly because especially if you're feeding them yourself and everything, they don't get that bonding with them and broken night's sleep and all that sort of stuff. It's a massive time, and there's been things on the news, where women have had babies during lockdown and the families haven't been able to see them and they've been quite isolated and everything. And there was something this morning about postnatal depression, that there's been more phone calls around postnatal depression since, lockdown started because of that isolation.
I can believe it. Yeah, if you weren't allowed to come round, um, yeah, it would have been horrendous.
Yeah. So it's difficult enough as it is when everything runs smoothly, but with things that are going on at the moment, it's difficult. So what have you got top tips? Is there anything that you would say?
I'm not a professional mother.
You're
I'm
a
just
mother.
dragging
You are a
Alfie up.
professional mother now. That's how it works.
Top tips for what? Bringing up a
Well,
child?
yeah, in your first 2 years of parenting, what are the things that you think have helped you the most during that 2 years? Something, I don't know, that somebody said to you, have you tried this? Or because I know you're starting potty training him now. And you're a bugger for googling everything. Whenever I say anything to you, you're straight on Google. What do I need to do? How do I work this out? Is there
Mm.
anything that you've kind of discovered that's worked with Alfie, or that you think, oh, if I was going through this again, I wish somebody had told me this?
Um, I don't know. Potty training, all we did was when he had a wee on the potty, we gave him a sticker and he got so excited. His potty is absolutely rammed with stickers, and
Yeah.
that's all he does it for. It's done like it's for a reward, isn't it? It's the
And if
most,
that works, then that's the way to do it. Yeah.
yeah. He has took to it really well. Um, but yeah, we've had nothing else to do. I don't know, like in normal times, if it would have worked well. But we've been at home, we've had nothing else to do. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I have to clean up wee all day, then at least it gives me something to do, doesn't it?
That's one way of looking at it.
Well, um, but yeah, I think Me and Jenny have quite a good sense of humour, so I think having a sense of humour
Ha-
is always a bonus. You know, if something doesn't go right, then you just got to laugh about it, haven't you?
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the big things that I would always say to parents is people are so good at offering advice and saying, oh, do it this way or do it that way. And because I was, 20 when I had your older brother. So I was quite young, and it's to have the confidence to parent your own way, to do what feels right for you in that moment. And Alfie's coming up to that age now where he's quite strong-willed. He does, if he wants to do something, he's, the terrible twos and the troublesome threes and all that sort of stuff. And I know that sometimes I can see the look on your face. It was quite a while ago. We were out, and I think he was laid in the middle of Boots, just not wanting to get up. And it was like you were just ride it out, which to me is the best thing to do. We can learn a lot from the little people in our lives. That they feel the feeling in the moment, and then it passes, and they get up and they're quite happy. So yeah, one piece of advice I would probably give is to be 100% behind your own parenting.
That's it, yeah. If it's not going our way, we do make it into a game, or like distraction. Distraction works
Yeah,
100%. If you get angry, you're just feeding into it, aren't you? If you just distract him, oh, what's this? Oh, look at this. He's like straight away, like it'll be tears streaming down his eyes. We'll stop. He's like, what? And it's like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
got him then.
Well, that's it. And some people, the older generation, and I can talk about my mum, your nan. It was, yeah. I went against the grain with a lot of that. Do you know what I mean? Distraction works, and if it works, then use it. We don't need to use the naughty step all the time. We don't need to be disciplinarians all the time. But it is hard. You do get judged sometimes when you're out. If you have a child that's being difficult.
People can judge you for everything. I mean, I breastfed Alfie until he was 16 months. Some people had an opinion about that, and he's slept in my bed since he was 6 months old. I mean, he goes into his bed in his own bed, wakes up in the middle of the night, and I put him in my bed because he settles.
Yeah.
People have an opinion about that, but he's turning out okay, and
Yeah.
that's
And
you know.
it's to have the confidence to do it your own way, because I do truly believe that parents know how best to parent their own kids. And it's not to say that we get it right all the time. I'm sure you have opinions on my parenting and whether it was done right, as particularly with your older and your younger brother. But we won't go down that road. So what are you looking forward to next, as far as being a parent?
Do you know? I was only talking to Jenny about this the other day. I can't wait to see what kind of a person he grows into, but at the same time, it really scares me because he's a product of my parenting, isn't he?
Oh.
So, I
Yeah.
really can't wait to see, what kind of, even like in a few years' time when he's 5 or 6, what he's going to be like. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot of responsibility, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And like you say, like, what, 80% of what he learns is learned before he's 5. That is down to me teaching him, isn't it? If I don't teach him something, he's not going to know that.
Well, yeah, but again, there's different areas, isn't there? There's these social skills, which again we touched on earlier on, that there's going to be a generation of kids that are frightened to death of people. So there's these social skills, there's his emotional development, as well as his educational development and everything. So I think you and I know I'm biased, but I'm not just saying this. You get him outside. Do you know what I mean? He's learning children learn so much through play, through just experiencing things around them. And I think that's brilliant. We went for a walk once, and I used to be in such a rush with you sometimes. I was always very busy, and I had to get from A to B because there was a job to do. Whereas you've had time with Alfie, that if he wants to stop and literally smell the flowers, you let him stop and smell the flowers.
But yeah, I am fortunate in that I've had the opportunity to have this career break with Alfie, and I appreciate Johnny supporting me through this and that. But yeah, I don't know how parents with more than one kid do it either. They've got their hands full, haven't they? And it's hard when you've got a toddler and a baby and you're trying to do things. Was that you would have had Carl, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been running after him, and I would have had dragged along, wouldn't I?
Well, I just used to leave you generally because I knew that you were all right. He was always up to no good. So if I put you down, I know that you'd pretty much stop there, but that's another story. But yeah, I think kids are really good at being in the here and now. That's what they do. When they're going for a walk, they're taking in so much information about what's around them, what they can see and touch and feel and smell and everything. And I think we lose that as grown-ups sometimes. We're too busy thinking about what we've got to do next and everything else. So I'm a strong advocate for going back to being a 2-year-old and learning something from our kids. So I would just like to say thank you for this. I know it's been a long day. You've been up early. Every morning's an early morning for you, isn't it? Yeah, with Alfie. So I shall say thank you very much, and I shall stop recording this when I can find my mouse. And I shall post this very soon. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And we might come back and do another one on another topic.
Well, he's growing now, isn't he? So we'll have something new to talk about.
Another
soon.
12 months.
Yeah. Check up, see if I'm still alive.
Of course you will. You will. You'll be back at work by then as well. That's scary.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.